Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady viewing at home, the time has finally come. After over 2 hours of music to listen to, after all the live reactions that are still available on YouTube and Spotify if they're not blocked in your area, after all of that, plus just having to do the figuring out of how I feel about it, the time for me to review all of Drake's new albums has finally come. I appreciate you all so much for clicking on this, for tuning in. And if you have not listened to the albums yourself, just don't wait, because this episode is going to give you a good breakdown on why or why not you should check out any or all of these albums. With all that being said, make sure you like, follow, subscribe on whatever platform, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe so that you stay up to date on all of our content. Make sure that you share this shit with your friends so that you can help the channel grow. And if you are on YouTube, make sure you hype this video so that you can help it get boosted in the algorithm. Now, with all that being said, before we get into the actual review of the music itself, I do want to touch on just this whole trademark, copyright, crazy, they're taking everything down related to Iceman. And Drake, I just want to tell you right now, I don't understand where you're getting at doing that. I don't understand how you think it helps you. You are literally taking away the right from people who are fans of yours to really give you a good review, to be able to boost your shit up in the algorithm, just giving their honest thoughts on your music and shit. So that's not a good look, bro. I've already had a couple of emails for all 3 of my live reactions on them being blocked in certain areas. So again, if it is blocked in your area, make sure you leave a comment so I know that. I'd like to know who is not able to view it. And I'm also going to leave a link to the YouTube videos of all of my live reactions in the description on this. So if you haven't already, go check those out, go give those a watch. But with all that being said, I am not going to spend too much more time yapping on this intro. All of my thoughts on all of these projects are going to be discussed more than enough as we get through this. So y'all have a good time. Y'all go ahead and get yourself some food, get yourself some drink, go and get comfortable, because over the next, I want to say 20 to 25 minutes, and maybe it'll go up to 30, I'm going to tell you all about all 3 of these albums and why you should or should not check them out. First things first, we're going to be taking a look at the first album, or at least the first album that I listened to out of the trilogy, Habiti. Just getting straight to the point, Habiti is the worst album that Drake has ever released. It is front to back aimless. It is completely all over the place, even for the playlist standards that he likes to hold himself to now, or at least ever since More Life. And across 11 songs in 36 minutes, I was literally only able to find 2 songs that are worth going back to at all. Rusty is one of the worst intro. Not one of. It is the worst intro he's ever made. Don't know what the fuck is going on in it. It sounds like some AI slop. It really does sound like some AI slop meme bullshit that somebody made, like a parody of a Drake song. So that was certainly a way to start off that album, and it really just didn't get better from there. WNBA was a much better song, although it still just sort of felt scattered. I liked it upon the first listen, but I went back to it just today, and I actually unliked it, just to give you an idea. So yeah, and it's really just that's how a lot of this album went. It's just not a lot of stuff to sink your teeth into at all. I'm trying to go back and see if there's anything I liked. I'm Spent featuring Low Shimmy, which is a good song, except that Drake really just goes in and takes Low Shimmy's whole style on it. And then Classic, which is the only passable song across this entire project. It's literally the only one. And he even fucks that up because it's only the first half that really is strong. It's really fucking crazy. It's like some old school 90s R&B. It's Drake doing some of the best vocals I've heard him do in a while. And then midway through, he completely just switches up the beat, changes the whole vibe of the song. It's still R&B, but it's just why'd you do that? And so, that's really the story of this album. It's just, why did you do that? This is an album of Drake ideas, of concepts that aren't really ever fleshed out, that aren't really utilized to their full potential. and it's a waste, you know? Her Nor There is not the worst Sexy Red collaboration he has all across all 3 albums, but it's definitely not a good one at all. It is for some reason he thought it would be a good idea to take a slow ass beat, a melancholy ass beat, and put Sexy Red, who is most famous, most celebrated for the energy and, you know, that just the energy that she brings to a song and just the way that she can sort of get the party started and get it lit. And he just has her just doing some right here, right there. Like just some real slow sounding, like why is she just mumbling type shit. So there's nothing on this album that I really can really big up or say was a positive except for Classic, and literally just one half of it. So yeah, I got nothing really good to say about this album. It's 36 minutes, so it's not like he's holding you hostage, so it's not like it's overly long. That's maybe one of the other few positives I'll give it, but yeah, this ain't Drake at his best at all. If I'm gonna have to give this any type of letter or number grade, it's like a 3 out of 10 or a D. It's just, this was a failure across the board and one that he definitely needed to not release. Alrighty, so up next we have Maid of Honor, second album that I was able to listen to, and this one actually had gotten me a little bit more excited, especially like going into Iceman. I was sort of really disappointed after Habiti, and so going into Maid of Honor, I was a little hesitant to even want to listen. I didn't know what to expect from an album that had his mom's face on it with him and his dad superimposed on it behind it. It's called Maid of Honor, so it sounded like it's going to be some real emotional shit or anything like that. And then you see the first song is called Ho Phase, so I did not know what to think. But once I clicked play and I started listening to everything, I definitely can say that this lived up to the praise that it has gotten. I've seen a lot of people calling it the best of the 3, and without spoiling what I think of Iceman, I will definitely agree with that. This was the strongest front to back. It had not, I would definitely wouldn't call anything on here Drake's best work, but it definitely just had some of the highest, most fun moments that I've had in a while just hearing Drake's music. Even the songs that I will say that I didn't say that I'm not going to probably go back to, I wouldn't call many of them awful or mid. Oh, well, I will call them mid, but I wouldn't call them awful or terrible. I would just say that they're mid at worst. I like the Central C song, the Pop Can song, Outside Tweaking. Those first couple tracks on there were really just mid to me. I wasn't able to say that I hated any of them. Even Road Trips, I gave it a like. The one song on here, if I'm just gonna get the negative out of the way, that I think is the worst thing that Drake has ever been a part of, like just this is the worst song he's ever been a part of. Cheetah Print featuring Sexy Red. I don't know why they keep working together. This is the second time that I've had to talk to y'all on this review about like Drake and Sexy Red having a terrible collaboration, but they tried it and it did not work. It's supposed to be like a cha-cha slide type song. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. That type of thing, except with Sexy Red doing it. It's fucking awful. It's terrible. I don't know who in the studio told them to release it. Again, Drake needs to leave Sexy Red alone. Every time he collaborates with her, it is terrible. It is fucking bad. Stop doing it. But yeah, I will say right after that track, the album picks up again. Like I said, it's mid, but you start at BBW and he does go on a little bit of a run. Especially like these are all house inspired tracks, which might have been why I was like liking it so much. But BBW, True Bestie, and New Bestie, those are all good songs. I really fucked with all 3 of them. Where's Your Stuff interlude? It's a little cringe, but yeah, this is an album that, listen, if you aren't a fan of Drake's rapping, if you hear Iceman and you're not fucking with that, I will still say try and give this a shot. This is straight just club, party, fun music. It's a whole album of it. You're not going to get some of the emotions that Drake is clearly going through on Iceman on here. And this is just him having fun. It felt like he was just having a good time, just trying to make some shit that's going to get the party lit. It's like he said on Nokia, fuck a rap beef, I'm just trying to get the party lit. That's this album in a nutshell. So I fucked with it from that perspective. And it's one that I really think that is going to have the most replayability or songs that people are going to go back to. not New Bestie, True Bestie featuring Iconic Savvy is honestly one of the best. If you need to hear that in a club, that is a song that you need to go to a club. You need to see some ass being thrown to that song, because I think if you don't like some of these songs on here, you just need to go out to a party and see some motherfuckers having fun to it to understand it, because that's what this album's for. I'm not gonna try to put it on the same light or on the same like level of, all right, Drake was really trying to really say something with it, because he's clearly not. This is clearly just have some fun and do your thing. And to make a long story short, this is going to go a part of the conclusion. I think he needs to lean into this side of things from now on. I think this is what he needs to be focusing on. Get away from all of the shit that is from the controversial shit, from the shit that has turned motherfuckers against you. Focus on just having a good time, man. Let us have a good time in the club when we're at a party, when we are just out and about, because that is where your music is the best, man. Get away from, I don't know what it is, ever since If You're Reading This Is Too Late, where you started to lean into this whole persona, but you got to get away from it. Because actually, I'm gonna wait, because we're about to be done with this Maid of Honor review. I'm gonna focus on that. This is a good album. Outside of Cheetah Print, this is honestly a very listenable album. So if I have to give this one a letter grade, I'm gonna have to give it a C+. If I have to give it a number grade, it's a 6. So it's not the worst album in the world. It's definitely not even close to his best, but at 45 minutes, 14 songs, this is not something that's going to be just a complete shit show from top to bottom like a BT. And as we're going to get into, it is not somewhat of a slog like Iceman. Last but not least, we've got the album that everybody was waiting for. We've got Iceman. Where to begin? I'm going to start with the positives. The intro and the outro are amazing. Make Them Cry is probably one of the better intros that Drake has done. It's definitely not his best, but it's definitely one of the better ones. The beat switches are all nice, especially that soulful beat on that second part. I really fucked with that. And then Make Them Know is just fucking crazy. Like, that's the best closer he's ever done on any project. It really ends the album on a high note. Yes, he's still got some of the same issues of what he's talking about and everything like that, and just being so obsessed over his enemies and everything. But that little lazy flow he did, it was great. I love the little outro with the whole Iceman singing Freeze the World. It's a really good closer. It's a really good song. And I really wish that he had been able to channel whatever he was channeling on that intro and closer into the rest of it, because god damn is the middle of this shit just a bit of a slog. This is an album full of this nigga just complaining, crying, bitching, whining and moaning. On some songs, he just wants motherfuckers, he wants you to believe he was the victim of and was done so wrong. On others, he's so focused on just trying to shit on all of these enemies and all these ops and just repeating the same thing that he always does, how he fucked your bitch, how he's got this and that over you. I got all the chains you want. I bought all this nigga shit. Just real shallow, artificial shit. And it's the same stuff that made motherfuckers turn against him, that made motherfuckers start viewing him as lame and corny, and he just hasn't learned. It's like he just doesn't get it. I really feel like this is an album that is just solidified. This man is too insulated from reality for us to ever be able to really get him back to how he was before. If you're reading this is the album. His head is in the sand. The fact that he named the song Ran to Atlanta, just knowing that he was trying to play off of what Kendrick said to him in Not Like Us, and then for it to be the song to literally only be good because of Future and Molly Santana, he's a self-fulfilling prophecy. He really is. I don't know what else to say. There's so many different missed opportunities, missed ideas, missed execution. You've got Bees on the Table is just the one that really stood out to me upon first listen. You got 21 come on and do that boring ass hook and doesn't even have him rap. I don't know, man. Then you've got You've got you've got not Whisper My Name, but Dust. You've got Janice, Shut the Fuck Up. There's so many songs on here that is just not, they're just, the flows are good, the beat's good, but it's just what you're talking about is ass, for lack of a better term. You just don't have shit to talk about. You're boring, you're lame. You talk about getting people touched and about how, oh, we heard your brother car got flipped. It probably wasn't our work because it was sloppy. Like, bro, you sue niggas. You sue niggas. You file lawsuits. You get litigation started. I can't take you serious. And that's the story of this album. It's like this man is really trying to convince us that he's something that he's not. And listen, man, I would feel different about this song if it wasn't an hour and 8 minutes long, if it wasn't 18 tracks of him just whining and moaning, of just being bitter, of being obsessed. You're still trying to diss Kendrick 2 years later after we all heard you on The Heart Part 6. I thought we were going to have, a real competition. But, you just want to just talk bullshit. I still remember that, Drake. I remember that. I remember you with the AI voice telling Kendrick to come at you and talk about the shit about how you like little girls. I remember you doing that. So you just spend so much time, so much precious time on this album trying to harp on how niggas is lame for trying to come at you with false narratives, trying to make up shit, trying to call yourself a corporate America hit job survivor. It rings hollow with me, my nigga. There were too many times where I was listening to this album where I started to get into it, where I started to nod my head a little bit, really feeling the shit, really trying to get with what you were going. Then I heard you drop a line that was just bullshit, that wasn't true, that was based in a false reality. And it just immediately had me pausing the song and had me looking into the camera like, nah, this nigga's full of shit. And that is the story of Iceman. It is just continuously being pulled out of songs that have good production, that have tight flows, that are technically well put together. And then just seeing this nigga just say some shit that just like, what are we talking about, bro? What are we doing? There's like songs like National Treasures where you like that beat's fucking crazy. The flow goes fucking crazy. And you just got in the background of the beat, just like shit like that, bro. It's like, this is an album that if you don't listen to it too hard, if you're just like casually listening to it, you might think this as an 8, but when you really start to hear what he's saying and the story of this man's career, it becomes a 6 or a 5 because you're sitting there listening to it like, who does this nigga think he is? Why is he trying to gaslight me as a listener? And like, it's just too long, bro. It's too long. If this was the energy that you were going to come with the whole album, you needed to get rid of a couple of these songs. Streaming be damned. Because there's not enough high quality music on here for me to get past all of the bullshit. You got Too Hard for the Radio, where you have the audacity to take a West Coast beat or West Coast sounding beat and then talk about some, I'm going to show you how to do it, little boy. You need your ass smacked. Somebody should have touched you for that. Tapped you on the shoulder and said, what are you doing? Because that's a waste of a placement on the album. That's how bad that song was in particular. I just want to be clear. Then you have songs like, I believe it's either Lil Birdie or it's Don't Worry. I'm not clicking the song again to listen to it. It was the most shameless case of biting I've seen from Drake ever. This man took Kodak's whole flow, whole style of speaking and talking and rapping, and just did a whole song cosplaying as Kodak Black. Didn't give him a feature. He's not credited on the song at all. You need to be ashamed of yourself for that, because it's so blatant what you do. You could have put that shit on Maid of Honor. That was the album that was supposed to be for all the cosplaying and all the like using your whole copy cat style ability shit. That was what that song was for, not putting it on Iceman, because all it did was stand out as just ass. And at the end of the day, that's really my big issue with this album. It's too much dissing, too much just not letting it go, bro. And the one in particular that really just sat there and pissed me off, Make Them Pay. You spend the whole song trying to hate on all these people, trying to hate on J. Cole, who you a bitch for doing the way you did, and you trying to make it seem like he did you wrong. It's just so much extra. It's just so much of this album is spent where we have to just really just are forced to deal with the fact that Drake is just a bitter ass man who can't deal with the fact that he lost this beef, who can't deal with the fact that the public isn't supporting him the way they were, and who really just wants us all to believe that he is being persecuted, that he is just being unfairly treated, and that the industry is against him as if they weren't sucking his dick for the past decade. And so that's why I can't get into it. That's why I can't really sit here and enjoy this album the way that I've seen some other people enjoy it. If you are able to sit here and listen to Iceman, get past all the shit that he's trying to really, all the bullshit that he's trying to feed you, and really sit there and still enjoy it, more power to you. I have tried to go back and listen to some of these songs, but there's just too many times where I'll hear him say something that I literally will pause. I will literally have to pause it and just take a fucking sigh and just remember who I'm listening to. I'm no longer able to get lost in Drake's music because I'm constantly being reminded of who he actually is as a person. And it is just, it ruins the listening experience for me. And I don't know how it's not ruining the listening experience for people who are still like stands of this nigga. I don't know how you can stand him in 2026. But yeah, it's definitely not the best of the weekend. Like, this is not better than Maid of Honor. It might be technically, like I said, it might be made and produced better, but it's too much shit that you have to sort of like not actively ignore as you're listening to really enjoy the music the way it's supposed to be enjoyed all the way. So that's why I have to give this one a 5. I'm having to give it an honest to God, just 5 out of 10. This is a C-. I don't really, it's better than Habiti, but not by much. Not by fucking much, because this is just a long album that just goes on, and it's the same shit the whole time of him trying to convince all of us that this is still the Drake that we were getting all this time ago. Like, this album, more than anything, has convinced me that Drake is officially past his prime. We're not seeing Jordan in the Bulls uniform. This is Jordan in that Wizards uniform in 03. That's who we're dealing with, y'all. And I guess now I will get into the final thoughts and final conclusions on everything. I really just feel like if Drake is going to continue his career and going to continue to have any type of elongated success, he needs to, at this point, you need to just shift away from the rapping. It's done. It's over. You had a really good run. It's okay. It's time to let that shit go. I feel like you need to go the MGK route and just lean into this other styles of music. The same way that Eminem, and I had this thought as I was doing an early recording on this, this is literally his MGK phase of his career, I feel like, for Drake, where if he wants to have some real success, you need to lean into that Maid of Honor style of music. You just need to lean into making those 80s style pop songs, lean into making that Caribbean shit, lean into the house music elements that you were incorporating on there, but just get away from all of this rapping, man, because it doesn't even sound like you have fun doing it. This nigga didn't sound like he was enjoying himself on this album. Sounded like he was trying to force himself. It feels like this is how Stella got her groove back, except this is Drake just trying to force himself to get his groove back. So it was a slog. It wasn't fun. It's not fun to listen to a man be that bitter and upset about everything. So I want you to go back to having some fun while you make music, Drake. Go and lean into the whole, whatever you were feeling while you were making Classic, whatever you were feeling while you were making shit like True Bestie or BBW, you need to just lean into that, man. Sound like, because it does, that whole album, like I said, even the songs that were mid, it sounded like you were at least having a good time making them, or at least doing your thing. You sound like you were more focused on the music being good instead of, I got to get all this frustration and anger out like it is on Iceman. And that's really the biggest thing for it. It's like, it's technically made well. The production is great. Every element outside of Drake's vocals and what he's talking about on Iceman is really good. So I don't really know what's left for him in rapping if that's the energy and that's the mind state. That's all I can really say about it. But with all that being said, those are my thoughts on all three of those projects. It didn't need to happen. I really do feel like this was a 3-album drop just to get out of that contract and just to make sure that he had enough material period out there so that fans of his would be able to like create their own playlist out of the 3 albums. Because there's no way you dropped to BD thinking that was going to be up to par with some of your older shit. There's no way that you are dropping. That's I still don't. I cannot wrap my head around Iceman being as big of a disappointment as it was. So I don't really know where he goes from here. I don't think he's going to give up trying to be a rapper at this point, even though he should. And I don't really know what his whole purpose is anymore in terms of his career, period. Because if I'm Drake at this point, you've done so much. You've already had your jersey's damn near up in the Raptors if you want to just make another sports analogy. You don't really have to do anything else at this point. You can just go away and be on your own. But I just feel like he's not. And I feel like he's going to fuck up his legacy or whatever is left of it at this point, even worse than it already is. And that is a shame. I hate to feel like I'm seeing this all happen in real time. Feels like we are at that point where we're, instead of just embracing the MGK route, he's going to go full Kanye, if you understand what I mean, eventually. So, yeah, those are all of my thoughts on all 3 of these albums. It was a lot of music to listen to. I'm very happy that it's over with, and I hope he doesn't do this again. But yeah, no, this was a disappointment. You know, Iceman had a lot of hype. We had been waiting for this for a couple of years. And I'm not going to sit there and try to pretend like I think that he is done. I don't think that he is. Like I said, he dropped all 3 of these albums so he'd be able to give his fans enough to where they would have enough music from him to at least stay relevant to him. His core fans are still going to love this. His stans are going to be his stans. But the run's over. The run is over. Like I said, this is Jordan in a Wizards uniform. This is MGK after he got that kill shot record aimed at him by Eminem. This is a guy who is completely just defeated. And this wasn't the comeback album that I was thinking it was going to be either. This was an I'm Still Here album. So I don't know what the next couple of years are going to hold from him. I don't know if he's going to be able to recover from it. But all I know is the only question that really got answered out of this whole trilogy of albums was how he would respond to the beef situation itself. And he did not respond in a good way. But that's all I got to say about it, y'all. If I have to give you any suggestion at all, I would definitely go listen to Maid of Honor. I'm not going to wish anything on the BT on anybody's ears except classic. And Iceman, I'll tell you the songs that are actually worth listening to. I'll do y'all that solid. Whisper My Name, Shebang, Ran to Atlanta, Firm Friends, and Make Them Know. Make Them Cry is as good as the intro also. But outside of that, there ain't shit on Iceman that's really going to be worth you listening to that man bitch and whine and moan. So, with all that being said, I appreciate you all for, like I said, listening to not only this review, but listening to all of the live reactions if you did or wanted to go check them out. I appreciate you all for just checking out Kinetic Aesthetic, period. I want to tell you all to continue to be great people. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, whether you are on YouTube or on Spotify. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hype the video. If you're on Spotify, make sure you share it with some people. And lastly, but certainly not least, make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you tell me what your favorite song was, what your least favorite song was, what your favorite album out of the three was, or anything like that. I'd love to be able to hear what you guys are thinking, connect with you all, and have some little discussions about it. But this has been Kinetic Aesthetic. I am your host with the mostest, Jerm. We listened to all 3 Drake albums and reviewed them for you, so you don't have to. But I'll see you all next week with something else to review, and I might see you all later in the week with another episode.